I was thinking about skinning this here copperhead out and putting it on YouTube, just show people how to do things like that, because everybody does not know. But, you know, I'm not sure what the law is. I run over him with my car. He's a big snake, big old snake. He's still moving, so, I mean, you know, he's still got some life left in him. He didn't have any fangs or a mouth, so he couldn't bite you. Does not make him safe, however. I'm going to see if I can't pick him up. So you can see the coloring. That's a beautiful snake. Beautiful. And copperhead, big one, a really big one. Example of how to skin a 3-foot copperhead. And with a head on it, it would be right at 3 foot. So, the process. After you skin the snake, you have to take the snake hide, turn it upside down, staple it to a board, salt it, dry it. And after you get it salted and dried, you have to do a brining, if you will. You have to take it and put it in glycerin, or certain types of oils work. What you're doing is preserving the skin. Cut him from his butthole. Get the knife blade in him in the middle. You try to keep it in the middle, because when you're sewing it up later, when it's a hide, you don't want to mess up the prettiness of the outside. It's just the bottom scales. Make sure there ain't no babies crawling out nowhere.
Maybe need a sharper knife.
It's pretty sharp.
That is a big copperhead.
It's a big one. He's got some thick skin too, which is good. The knife is kind of dull.
There's one right beside you that ain't never cut nothing. Two of them.
Okay. He's a heavy snake too, though.
I know that's pretty sharp. So you just kind of fillet it off the...
You fillet it just like you do a fish, but once you get it started, it goes real easy. We just ain't got it started yet.
Okay.
Try not to cut through this again. Tanning of snake hides is something I started when I was a kid. I got interested in it because I didn't know where I came from. You know, I was 10, 11, 12, exploring the world, trying to figure me out, trying to figure out things that I like to do. Anyway, I went to the library and checked out a book on how to tan hides.
I think it's over with now, isn't it?
Hides. It's about
30 seconds after you get to that spot.
Probably 10 or 11 years old. Scared my folks senseless, but I had a lot of fun doing it.
No, forgot to cut it far enough. We may have a boogered up skin yet.
Well, I don't think there's no shortage of snakes.
There'd be plenty of snakes coming around. That's where I run over him yet.
That's a lot of meat to him, ain't it?
A lot of people eat them. I don't. These rattlesnake, you know, if he's hungry enough, you'd eat him, I guess. Now, we wash it real good. He ain't set up the best here, but I'm gonna get all the meat off the hide and just kind of scrape it like that.
Yeah. Yeah, tire kind of got him a little bit.
Got it. If it wasn't for that tire, I wouldn't have had him because he was not going to stop and play with me.
I can't say that I blame him.
He'd still be big enough to make a bracelet or something like that.
The cats are interested.
Give him something to know on. You see how pretty that is? That's beautiful.
It really is.
That's where that tire was. But still got 18 inches of pretty snake. All right, what you do here is you get it and you put it on this board so that you can salt it and rub it. You got to rub the salt into the skin. Kind of get a little closer here, Tony. You can see all that meat that's still attached.
Yeah.
That's what that salt is getting rid of. But you want it to stay on the board. Of course, you want to do it on the edges where the bottom scales were.
You try to save as much as you can.
Yeah, save as much of the prettiness as you can, because that's what people want. About every 4 inches or so, probably, maybe 6, whatever. Fatter in the middle. You got to remember when you're salting it, you're going to be taking a knife and doing this number to peel the skin, to peel the fat off with the salt, and then you reapply salt. So it's about as good as that's going to get right there. Now this is a good old boy way. I don't know what the Indians used to do.
Used to tie it and stretch it with.
This is the way I've done it since I was a kid. I used to go to the creek bottom, kill a snake with a pocket knife or whatever I had, bring it home and experiment. The first deer I ever tanned, I still have. Deer's a little easier to do because it's not as thin a hide.
I guess I should probably tell you a little bit about the process. After you skin the snake, you have to take the snake hide and turn it upside down, staple it to a board, salt it, dry it. And after you get it salted and dried, you have to take it and put it in glycerin, or certain types of oils work. What you're doing is preserving the skin. Now we're going to salt it down. Just cover it with salt, and then after you can be real generous with it. I'm talking like lay it to it. There you go. And after you start doing that number to it. And just keep rubbing the salt in. The salt draws the moisture out of the hide, is what it does. And wherever you put the snake, you need to be sure that the animals can't eat it. Like a cat would come in here and would just devour it, even with salt on it. Be sure to get that other little speck down in there. Now we've got about 2 weeks before we'll need it, but we need to go to the Walgreens or somewhere and get about a quart of glycerin, and that's it. The hard part's done. Now we got to just wait.
Time on the side.
Yep. Glycerin in. This is straight glycerin, 99.7% glycerin. Just so I've taken time to scrape the salt off of this hide, and he's pretty. The rubbing of the glycerin into the skin or the hide is often a very messy process. So when you sit down to do it, be sure you get somewhere that you can make a mess and clean it up, because glycerin is really sticky and it's just messy. And be sure to coat both sides of the snake skin with glycerin. It's important to rub the glycerin into the snake hide really well before you put it in the jar. After you put it in the jar, you need to let it sit there at least a week. Stir it up, shake it, whatever you got to do. If you don't have it slammed full of glycerin, add some, take it out, work with it, wash it off, put it back in, add more glycerin. The more you do it, the softer it'll get. Yeah. Conservative, so I'm just going to pour it about half full. Not even half full. We're good as done. Okay, so we've taken the skin out of the glycerin and washed it off with water. Dried it off. Now you can see you have a very permeable, leather-like snake hide. It's relatively strong. Not that I'm going to test it in any way, but it's not ripping, it's not sheared, it's not hard as a brick bat. So now you can take it and glue it or sew it into whatever you want to make. And just as a little show, you see how it's really strong, because a snake hide is by nature very strong. Well, I decided that it's too pretty of a day to not show off the snake hide. It's beautiful in its own right. Wonderful piece of nature, now somewhat of a piece of art. I hope everybody enjoys these little videos I make. I like to make sure that the people in my life who are responsible for making this possible. I'd like to thank my mother, Claudia Chambliss. I'd like to thank my wife, Rhonda Chambliss, for putting up with me. There she is in all her beauty. Decided I wanted to show off the piece that had not been glycerined yet. It's still got a lot of salt on it, which is no big deal, and just, it is what it is. But this part without the glycerin, isn't that beautiful? That's the bottom, that's the tail of the snake. This was where the tire run across the snake, and then the snake that's in the glycerin is the other part of the snake. So he's a 3-foot copperhead, which is really big. I'm not going to glycerin this one. I'm just going to wrap it, spray glue it and wrap it around something and call it done, because this has been an adventure. Hope you've enjoyed our video. Have a good day.